My name is Armand Ruiz. I'm the product manager of the IBM Data Science Experience and a new offering called Watson Machine Learning that we'll be announcing here in Wall of Watson. So first of all, I would like to ask you how many data scientists we have in the room. Can you raise your hands? OK. That's a pretty big number. So I'm a data scientist myself. I've been working for IBM now for 5 years. The first 3 years, I've been like a pure data scientist with very hands-on on SPSS and R. I really like R. And then I've been working also with many different clients and startups in Europe, Middle East, Africa. I'm from Spain. I'm based here in the States. But I'm from Spain, and I've been working a lot in France as well. So I've been helping many startups. And then it came out to the problem of how we make better tools for data science. So that's how I shift my career from data science into product manager. So now I'm trying to build the tool that I would love to have as a data scientist. So that's how data science experience kind of started, the new project. I would like to ask as well if anyone here in the room has already an account on the data science experience. Wow, that's pretty cool. OK, that's good, because we're working day and night to make like a great product, and it's nice to see people using it. OK, so data science experience is a product that started basically 1 year ago. So if you wanna know everything that's going on with the project, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm pushing stuff that is not even on the IBM Analytics Twitter handles. So I'm pushing stuff that we're working on development, on design. So also we are looking for sponsor users. The way we are building data science experience is really, when we started 1 year ago, it was really like interviewing data scientists. So basically what we do is we go and we sit next to data scientists, and we try to understand how you guys are working, how you guys are collaborating with other data scientists and with the rest of your company. And we are trying to understand this process and make tools and make a very cool experience for you. So just to explain a bit the journey that we've been doing here for this product, in the Spark Summit in 2015, so that's like more than 1 year ago, IBM announced a big push for Spark, and we call Spark as the analytics operating system, right? So we are now including Spark in most of our analytic products, and data science experience is built right on top of Spark. So we opened something called the Spark Technology Center in San Francisco. So what we have there, we have 50 developers working full-time only to make the open source Spark project a lot better and a lot cooler. And today we are the second company contributing more on Apache Spark, and we are the #1 in contributions on the machine learning piece. So it's really amazing how many new contributions we made to the Spark community, and how many things we fix as well. In June, we announced Data Science Experience, and then we also announced a very interesting set of partnerships. So this is a journey, and we realized that we have very cool tools at IBM, like SPSS, that are kind of closed environments, and open source is becoming so strong, right? So we are partnering with the key players on the open source community. One of them is, for example, RStudio. I really like RStudio. So we partner with them, and we committed into 2 things. One is to bring RStudio into the data science experience, and we have it there. And then also how to improve the interface between R and Spark. And we announced something very cool as well 2 weeks ago to enable all the Spark code that you guys have to work seamlessly on top of Spark. So how many people here is using R or RStudio today? OK, that's my favorite tool. I really like RStudio. So I was really pushing to get this partnership done. Then we had a partnership as well with H2O. I would say they are kind of leading what is going on the machine learning community. They have a very cool set of machine learning algorithms and that they can scale to big data. We partner as well with Lightbend. Lightbend is the company that created Scala. So we are working with them to make Scala even better. And then we partner as well with Galvanize as a way to teach data science to more people. So, and there is one missing here that we announced as well in September, Continuum Analytics. So again, who is using here Anaconda for Python? Yeah, quite a lot of people. So I'm really excited to tell, and I'm going to show you a demo now, that we have Anaconda 3.5 with support for Python 3.5 in the data science experience since Friday. So we are partnering with the key players on the open source community. We are trying to improve the open source projects, but then we are also integrating that into the data science experience. So what we realize is that data scientists today, when you start a project, you don't start from scratch. You never kind of open a Jupyter notebook or RStudio with a blank canvas or a blank notebook. You always try to go on GitHub and try to get some inspiration. You search on Stack Overflow, you search on Google, and trying to solve this problem, and trying to get some code samples, code snippets that you can reuse, right? So one huge component of the data science experience is learn, and we are bringing a lot of learning material into the experience. So you can, as soon as you get into data science experience, you get tutorials, you get videos, maybe you are using a specific tool, and you get content relevant to that tool on the side, and you can do this back and forth. So built-in learning material is in there. We're going to get even better and better over time. We have the Big Data University. We train 400,000 data professionals in the Big Data University, and we're going to bring a very nice integration between these products. Then we have the creation. Obviously, if you guys are data scientists, at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to build stuff, right? And like data scientists, every data scientist has their favorite tools. So some of them, they will prefer RStudio, and others maybe they prefer more like a SPSS kind of interface. Others, they may be like Jupyter notebooks or Zeppelin notebooks. Here, we are not making you choose one. We are bringing them all into the experience. And then we are building it in a collaborative environment where you guys can collaborate one to the other. So that's like the third point, collaboration. So what we realize is that data scientists today, first, they are using their tools on silos, and they are not sharing it, or they are not really collaborating. So I'm going to show some of the collaboration capabilities that we have in the product. So this is data science experience today. It's a lot of community, it's a lot of open source, and then we are adding on top of that IBM Added Value capabilities. So on community, as I mentioned before, you can find tutorials, you can find open data sets, you can connect with other data scientists, you can ask questions to other data scientists, you can fork and share projects. And then the first version of data science experience, it was really based on open source. So we started with open source instead of IBM technologies. Why? Because open source, I would say in the last 3 to 5 years, became so robust for data scientists today that I see companies that are built on top of open source. In fact, we acquired the weather company last year, and their amazing infrastructure is mostly running on top of open source technologies. So we are pushing really hard on open source. We provide Jupyter notebooks. How many people here are using Jupyter notebooks? Yeah, who doesn't know what is a Jupyter notebook? Okay, I'll showcase that in a minute. I like to describe Jupyter notebooks as Google Docs for data science, kind of. So yeah, we provide an open source environment where you can code in Scala, Python, and R. We provide different tools. It's all built on Apache Spark, which is also open source. And then you can use the most popular open source libraries. We pre-install them already for you. But if you have a new one that you would like to add, you can go ahead and install it yourself. And then on the last item is IBM Added Value, right? So here is where we are starting now to add some very, very exciting things. And I'm going to show you some of them. One of them is SPSS Modeler and SPSS Statistics. Is anyone here familiar with SPSS? Yeah, quite a big group as well. So we are bringing SPSS, the traditional SPSS products that you already use, into the cloud, into the data science experience in a self-service environment that you can share and collaborate with other users. So, and the best part of it is that everything is compatible. So the old streams on SPSS or the statistics projects that you had on your laptop, they can run now on the cloud as well. And I'm going to show a demo. We have prescriptive analytics as well. And then what we're, and Horst is going to talk a bit about that, we are trying to bring a lot of automation. So one of the big problems that we saw in the industry is that everybody wants to do machine learning, but like trying to hire a good data scientist with good skills is really, really expensive. And sometimes you need to hire a team of like 10. And I see companies that they are doing like 60 interviews just to hire a very good data scientist. So we're trying to make data science a bit easier, machine learning easier, so you don't need to hire PhDs to do very basic projects for machine learning. And we are trying to spend a lot of our time on building automation. So I'm going to present now the machine learning process. And there are different steps, and we are trying to bring automation in every step to help, for example, to clean the data automatically, to pick up machine learning algorithms automatically, and stuff like that. So as I said before, we announced the data science experience in the Spark Summit 4 months ago. And we have here a very cool picture. This is me doing the first demo ever of the product in a room packed of data scientists. And like after the demo, people were like getting crazy. They loved what we showed them. And here we have as well the CEO of RStudio. He was there with us, sharing like our vision and our partnership here. And then we were all over the news. So we were in closed beta by then, and the first day we got 1,000 data scientists applying to the closed beta in a wait list. So today we are in open beta, so anyone can go to datascience.ibm.com and you guys can create an account. And we are going to introduce the first enterprise version of data science experience here in this week in Wall of Watson. Then we see here a chart on the IBM contributions on Apache Spark machine learning. And this is our team in San Francisco, and they are rocking. We are the #1 company in contributions on machine learning. But what I saw that is pretty amazing is that we are the #1 company contributing on machine learning. We open source SystemML as well. That was like a huge contribution to the open source community. We have some amazing assets from IBM Research, and we have here Horst from IBM Research. He's going to share some of this stuff. But we don't have anything of that on our offerings. Us as IBM, we cannot go and sell all this technology. So all our clients, they are super impressed. They just want everything, but we don't have it in an offering. So with data science experience, we're trying to put everything in the cloud in a way very easy for each of you to get started with all this technology. So I guess another question for you: how many are using Spark today? And how many want to use Spark in the future? There are some of them. I'm sure the ones that are using Spark, they had to deal a bit with the setup of Spark. So you keep hearing about Spark all over, and Spark is so cool. You go to the Apache Spark website, and then it's like, oh hell, how do I get started here, right? So what is really exciting with the data science experience is when you create an account, we provide for you a Spark cluster, and that's for free. So automatically we spin up a Spark cluster, and we give you 5 GB for free, so you can run your projects. So I'm going to show you that now in a minute. One more point here that I would like to highlight is how we are building products today. I have this quote from Facebook: move fast and break things. So I'm really excited to be here in this conference because we kind of started this project 1 year ago, and I was doing so many interviews to different data scientists, trying to understand what do we need. So I basically own the backlog of the product, so I have to prioritize what we build first, right? So we talk to data scientists, we get feedback, we make mistakes, we break things, we fix them. But we're in a cloud environment, and we have a very agile team. So if you are already users of the data science experience, you can see features just going all the time into production. So on Friday, we push new code. Now we support Spark 2.0 and Python 3.5. And we have a lot of new features coming this Friday. So it's like every time we are getting new features, we're fixing bugs. And I'm here to hear from you. Tell me what you want. I'm going to show you how you can provide feedback when I'm not with you in the room. And we are really paying attention to that because you guys are driving the roadmap of the product. So we have this concept of like the loop is driving us. In data science, we have this the methodology that is never ending. You get data, you train models, you deploy them, you get more data, and you come over and over again. For our product, we're doing kind of the same. So with that, I'm going to jump into a demo. I have to say, I'm using the hotspot with my phone, so if it's super fast, I apologize. So I'm going to start showing a video that was done by our design team. So the team working on the data science experience is all over the world. But what is really interesting is that we started with a very, very small team. We have a design team in San Francisco in the Spark Technology Center. And then we have big dev teams in Silicon Valley, in Toronto, and in Germany. So I'm going to show you a video on how our designers were working to create this experience that you can use today.
Data is everywhere. Making data simple and accessible to everyone gives it meaning. We've interviewed hundreds of data scientists to understand not just what they do, but how they think, how they learn, how they build off the work of others, and how they get feedback to improve their output. Step one is getting the right tools together in one place, with the data. We started with the open source tools that are familiar to so many, Jupyter Notebooks, RStudio, and we're working on incorporating many more. But data scientists do much more than work with data. They research previous efforts in the field, gather assets from searches, use tutorials to gain new insights, and exchange ideas with their peers. We're sharing the first steps of our journey, designing what will soon be the easiest way to do great things with data. Here's what it looks like. When you land on the homepage, you have immediate access to tools and data. Data from your organization, a marketplace of both free and premium data, and access to data stored on your machine. Filter the results to get to the content that you really care about and relates to your work. If you find a notebook that is related to your work, copy it into your project and give credit to the originator of the work. Here's where it gets interesting. The right side panel. We call it the Maker Palette. It allows you to drag and drop code snippets and algorithms from articles, comments, or projects right into your notebook. Watch tutorial videos in the Maker Palette while working on a notebook, without opening multiple windows from various websites. This data space is extremely powerful, not just because of the easy access and analysis of data, although of course that capability is fundamental. It's the power of a community, the ability to easily learn from others, work with peers, discover work that moves the field forward. We can't wait to see what this becomes and what amazing work it enables.
So that's a pretty cool video, and every time I see it, I have like I really feel identified with the work we've been doing during the last year. So you can watch the video here if you go to datascience.ibm.com. That's right away there. And when you come here, basically you see the value add of the product. Learn, create, and collaborate. The same thing I just shared. So big component of the community. There are so many cool communities out there, and we're trying to my goal is to have every single data scientist in Earth using data science experience. That's why we are trying to make like the platform very social. And I'm gonna show some of the features that we have for community. But again, we're just getting started. Instead of tools, we have Jupyter Notebooks, as I said before, RStudio, and we have a new component for machine learning that is going to be announced this week. So I'm going to show it very quickly, but not so much. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sign in. And hopefully everything is working fine. So this is the landing page of once you logged into the experience. So we have this concept of what we call the community cards. So here the intent is to have something like the Facebook for data science, right? So you go to Facebook to see what your friends are doing every day on their lives, and you share your experiences on Facebook with your friends. Here we have new community cards popping up every day. And the idea is if you want to see what's hot, what's going on the data science sphere, you should come here to understand what's happening. You can also contribute your own community cards about data science with the community. We have 4 types. We have articles, we have open data sets, and we are partnering with some of the open data organizations to bring more data here. So the idea is that if you need data to do a project, you have like a nice catalog of open data, and in one click you can start working with that. We have sample notebooks, and we have tutorials. I'm going to show you very quickly two examples. One is a sample data set. So when you click in one of them, basically what you see is a description of the data set, who is the author, what is the topic, a preview of the data set, and then we have some social features here. So you can decide maybe you want to share it on social media, or you can just copy paste this URL and send it to another friend. You don't even need they don't even need to have an account. They can just get the link and they can preview this page without logging into the data science experience. You can like the different community assets, and we're hoping to have many users here, so the likes and the number of views is kind of driving that. And then we're going to use machine learning ourselves to tailor the content for each of the individual users. We can also bookmark the community cards. I'm going to show that in a minute as well. When it's coming, for me, my favorite is like notebooks, the way we can share notebooks. And I'm going to show a very cool notebook here about deep learning and image classification. So as I said before, notebooks are, I like to describe them as kind of like the Google Docs for data science. So it's an environment on the web browser where you can type code in nearly every language that matters for a data scientist, and then you can get the output right in the same document. You can add some text to describe what you are doing in these steps, and then you can reproduce that over and over again. And it's all in the web browser, so you can imagine a collaborative environment where you can have different data scientists working on the same notebook. So this is an example of a notebook shared in the community. So I can see the code. I can see the outputs as well. Here we're trying to do digit recognition. And basically what I can do is in one click, I can fork it, and then I can start working on it right away. What is kind of cool is GitHub has 200,000 of those notebooks public. So you can just go and get any notebook and import it into the data science experience. We're also partners with GitHub, so one of my dreams is to bring these 200,000 notebooks here and let the community decide which ones are the best. Because today the search engine on GitHub is not the best to find the most relevant notebooks. So let me drill down into an example. I'm going to show you projects. As I said before, this is all about collaboration, right? So how we bring different users all working on the same project. So we created projects. Here I have a list of all my projects and all the collaborators that I have in each of them. And I'm going to show you now this one. It's called airline delay analysis. This is a really common use case. So when you create a project, the first thing you can do is you can add collaborators. So you can start adding your own friends, your peers in your company, and then you can select the type of permission you want to give them. Because I created the project, I'm the administrator. Someone else can be an editor or just a viewer. And then as well, I can see all the members of the project, and I can always change the permission. Then we have what we call analytic assets. So for now, we have notebooks here. And notebooks, I can see the language, who was the last editor, who modified that. So depending, if I'm sharing a notebook with an editor, the editor can have access to work on that notebook. What is really cool is data assets. As I said before, we provide 5 gigabytes of object storage for each of the users that are coming here for free. You can always upgrade and add more data. And obviously, you can connect to your own data sources. So we have more than 27 data connectors. and then you can share the connection with the project. That's kind of cool, but what is really, really cool is when you share a connection with another data scientist, you are not sharing any URL, any credential, any password, any API keys. This is just happening in the back end. So that's some of the requirements we got from some clients, that they don't want to share the credentials for connections. And then depending on the permission levels that you have, you will be exposed to more or less. So that's kind of cool. If there are some community assets that you want to share in the context of a project, you can also add these bookmarks. And then where it gets really interesting is in the settings. You can see basically two things. Number one is on which Spark cluster this thing is going to be executed. So in this case, I have 2 Spark clusters. As I said before, when you create an account, you get a Spark cluster with 2 executors. If you want more, and you have the cash to buy more, you just come here, add new Spark cluster, and in a couple of clicks, boom, we can give you the Spark cluster that you need. You can scale, and if you have like a big data kind of project that you want to do, you can get a Spark cluster that is as powerful as you need. So it all depends on how much you need here. Then as well, the same with object storage. We provide 5 gigabytes for free. You can always add more storage, and storage is super cheap, is 4 cents per gigabyte. So you can get crazy here. Now I'm gonna show you how to create a notebook, and this is coming from what I was saying before. Data scientists, they can choose to start a notebook from scratch, from a blank notebook, and then you can pick up the language that you want: Python 2, Scala, R, and this is so exciting. This is brand new, Python 3.5. You can import it from a URL or from a file. And I'm going to show you a notebook here where we are doing some data exploration. And this notebook is really cool because that's an R notebook. And basically what we're doing is we are getting some airline delay data. So we have like all the data from 2007 and 2008, and we are trying to do some data exploration to try to find out some patterns on the delay. So which airlines are the ones that are causing more delay, or which airports, or if the weather information is causing the delay. So basically we have like 120 rows here of data. Using the basic R that we all know, we cannot deal with such a big data set. You know, R is working on memory, so you need a pretty big machine here. So basically the first use case is using basic R, and we can deal with 120K rows, which is not bad, but it's not the best. And basically here we're doing some basic data exploration. We are using ggplot to do like a distribution chart. And then here we have a chart where we can see all the flight volume, and basically we can see here 9/11, and then that the volume of flights right after 9/11 went down dramatically. But then what we are doing here is, instead of using just a sample of the data set, because we have Spark and we can scale as much as we want, we're using the full data set. So we are using Spark R to analyze 120 million records. And we run the same experiment, and really doing things with the full data set and not using samples provides a much better outcome. And that's a very visual example. So here, I believe it's a lot easier for all of you to spot the 9/11, right? So that's a very quick example of how Spark can bring better results. I'm going to show you another notebook here about how to create machine learning models. So when it's coming to machine learning, you have different options. You can use R as well. You can use Python. You can use SPSS. Basically, we provide the flexibility, and this is the environment where you will code on Jupyter notebooks. Jupyter notebooks are open source, but then we have here what we call the actions bar. These are IBM Added Value capabilities that on top of open source. So first, when you are working on a notebook, the first thing that you need is to bring data, right? So right away here on the sidebar, you can have a view of all your data sets. That's pretty cool. And in one click, let's say I'm interested in the 2007 data set, I can click here and select which kind of data frame I want to create. So I can create a pandas or a Spark data frame. And in one click, it's just typing for me all this code. Normally, I should have to type the code myself. Here, in one click, it's just happening. If I want to have if I have a data connection, in this case, I have a DB connection, I can do exactly the same thing. Here I have comments. Comments is like a real-time capability. So I could imagine two data scientists working side by side, and here I could have like a real-time conversation. What we have on the roadmap is integration with Slack. So if you know Slack or you are using Slack, we'll have it very well integrated here as well. Version control, again, really important. We have a mechanism to save up to 10 versions of a notebook, and we are adding full GitHub integration, so you will have like the full version control capabilities of GitHub here. You can see where this notebook is being executed. In Spark, it's a Python 2.7. We can schedule the notebook, and this is also a very cool feature that we push into production on Friday. So imagine that you run something over and over again. You move data from A to B, and that's something you do every night. Or you want to train a machine learning model every week to have like the model with fresh data. So that's something you can schedule, and then you can track the progress and get the outcome. And finally, we have the sharing capability, which I copied from Dropbox. And basically here is just getting you the URL, and I can share this notebook with any of you. I'm going to post it on Twitter after this session. So if you follow me on Twitter, you will have access to this notebook. And you can basically get you have different options. You can select to share only the outcome, so only the charts, or you can choose to share as well the code, depending who is your target. So here in this notebook, we are doing some machine learning stuff. We're creating 3 machine learning models. We're using Python, and that's pretty basic. I'm going to share it with you, and you can check it out after the session. One more thing I want to show is the RStudio integration that we have here in the data science experience. So is anyone here using RStudio also using RShiny to create interactive web applications? No? So I love Shiny. So, well, basically here, just to summarize, you have the full IDE of RStudio in the cloud. We are working with RStudio to bring the last version. So you can see there is a new option here called Spark. So automatically we are connecting RStudio to the Spark cluster of data science experience. So that's just working out of the box. And Shiny is what I'm going to show you here now. Is basically an open source technology to create interactive dashboards like this one. But what is really cool is that these web applications can be done by data scientists. So you don't need an application developer to go and do this kind of nice dashboard. It can all be done using R. So, and then if you are happy with the results, you can just copy paste the URL and share it with someone. So basically here we see a dashboard of the flight delay. You can select the month. You can select. We also included some weather information. So you can just select the different options. You can customize this dashboard as much as you want. So that's on the RStudio side. I would like to show you a couple of more things. One is the GIF feedback. So that's what I was telling before. So if you guys have ideas, you can come here and provide your own ideas. So for example, we have here people are asking for Zeppelin notebooks. They are asking for deployment capabilities on Shiny. So you can come here, add your own ideas. I'm tracking this in a daily basis, and we have some other product managers that will be helping here as well. And then if you are not creative and you don't have new ideas, you can always come here and vote for others' ideas. Sometimes I'm even voting myself as well. So you can see there is some good stuff in here. And then if you, as I said before, because we are shipping stuff all the time, you can come here to the what's new, and you have a view of all the new features that we are adding all the time into the product. And for each of them, we are writing a blog post, so you can see in detail what this new feature is doing. Finally, this little icon here on the corner, this is what our users are really loving. This is Intercom. So basically, if you have a question, we have an army at IBM. Like we have all behind this little window. So you know, at IBM we used to have the typical support that you have to call, open a ticket, and maybe in 2 weeks you get maybe an answer. We have developers, designers, product managers, marketing. We have all the team behind this window. And we're now into the point that we are being challenged on how to scale that. But people are loving the support that we are providing and how quickly we are doing that. So we have an average time of response of 100 minutes, which is like amazing. So again, if you have questions or you want to talk to us, that's another great way to get in touch with IBM. And yeah, 2 more things I wanted to share with you, and these are new announcements, so pretty excited about that. The first one, for the SPSS modular users, we're bringing SPSS here, as I mentioned before, and I'm going to show you a demo. It's going to be a video. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Basically, I'm in the context of a project, and before I had only notebooks. Now I can see I have pipelines and I have Canvas. So I can go here, create new Canvas, which is basically a SPSS stream. So I type the name, and I can add a description if I want. Just really quick here, I can, if I want as well, I can import a previous SPSS stream. I'm going to showcase that in a minute, and then we have the palette, we have the different nodes, and we start drag and dropping nodes into the canvas and creating the pipeline. The real value here is that you don't need to code to do data science, right? And we're giving you the choice. And maybe in your team you have some R gurus, some Python gurus, or SPSS gurus. We're bringing them all into the same environment, and they can all work together. So this is a very basic demo. I'm just loading a data set. I'm adding a new column to the data set. I'm now doing some filtering. So there are 2 variables I don't want. I kill them. Then I drag and drop a type node. Basically, the type node is useful in order to select the target. So if you want to do a prediction, you need to say what do you want to predict. So that's called target. So here I'm selecting the target. And then I'm creating a machine learning model. In this case, I'm doing a neural network. I drag and drop the node, it gets the target right away, I run, and it creates the model. Same as SPSS modeler. We still keep the concept of the yellow nugget as the model, and then I can click and see how this model is performing. So that's very cool. You have a team only focused on model visualization, and that's really, really critical, right? Because you're a company. You're trying to put your business in hands of a machine learning model, but you need to be sure that this model is really performing how it should be performing, right? So this is like our first steps on this. We have a team of 10 developers that are going to be improving this tremendously. And basically, every time you create a model or you create different models, we're going to provide you with a very easy to understand dashboard in order to pick up the right one. So this is like our first step in model visualization. One more thing I wanted to show here is SPSS compatibility. So if you have already SPSS modeler today, I'm sure you guys have like many streams, right? I wanted to showcase a pretty crazy one that I had and how I'm here visualizing the performance of a model. This is the same use case, by the way. I'm trying to do prediction of airline delay. And basically what we're doing is, boom, we import the same stream. The file is .str. We import it into data science experience, and then you can start working in the cloud. So forget about sending the stream by email or doing stuff like that we've done many times. Now you just add it into the project, you add your collaborators, your friends, and you can all work together. So again, we have the same concept here of the actions bar. So we'll have scheduling of streams, we'll have comments, we'll have version control, we have access to all these different data sources that we have here. So I'm really, really excited about that. And just to finish, I wanted to share with you two more things. One, basically this SPSS integration that you see here is going to be, we'll have the same kind of integration with SPSS statistics. I know for academics, statistics is really, really popular. It's coming. It's coming in closed beta at the end of this year, and we're going to ship it in GA next year. So stay tuned, it's coming as well. And for those that are more in production environments, we will have model deployment. So give me the API so I can deploy the model and I can integrate it into my application. So we have a big announcement around this. I'm not going to share it with you, but stay tuned this week because we have our CEO coming and sharing the news. And that's it. I have like 5 minutes for Q&A. If you have any question. Again, I encourage everyone to go to the expo, and if you want a deep demo, you can go and see more. Go to datascience.ibm.com and create an account. And I have like 4 or 5 sessions as well, so you can come and join to learn more about DSX.
Hi. So let me see if I understood correctly. We can use this data science experience in order to aggregate what we can do with, for example, SPSS and R or Spark and things like that. Yeah?
Yeah. You can do whatever. So if you want to use R, you can use R in Jupyter Notebooks or in RStudio. If you want to use Spark, you can use Spark in Scala, Python, and R in Jupyter or in RStudio. If you don't want to code at all, you can just use the SPSS and drag and drop nodes and do the same. If you want to integrate R code in the pipeline in SPSS, you can do that as well.
Because, for example, one of the things that I don't like of SPSS is that if I run a table, then there it is, the table, and I cannot take the number that I need to do something else after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes I have to use R. We're going to do R all the time because I have to be doing that all the time.
I understand. If you're familiar with the SPSS extensions on R, I developed 60 of them that we have in the marketplace. And basically, R is giving the flexibility to provide extra functionality that is not available on SPSS. So that's the trade-off, right? When you are in a GUI environment, you can go up to here. When you code, you don't have any limit. We are trying to make the GUI as better as we can, but we will always have some limitations.